Are you suffering pain in your butt after prolonged sitting position with difficulty sit to stand, stair climbing? And if you're an athlete who has difficulty kicking, running, playing soccer, and you feel a pain near your sitting bone. Hi, my name is Annie, and welcome back to my channel, Annie Pilates Physical Therapist. In this video, I'll be discussing different types of buttock pain. If it's from the muscle, the tendon, sciatica, or low back pain. And I will discuss about proximal hamstring tendinopathy that's always mistaken as a back pain, as a sciatica, even though it's the inflammation on the tendon that feels like a burning, sharp pain whenever you do high impact activities, and then the next day you have difficulty walking, sit to stand, and sitting position. So get your ankle weights and a ball to join me for this stage 1 activation on your proximal hamstring tendinopathy that can result to sciatica because of the inflammation near the sciatic nerve, and also to differentiate from piriformis syndrome, which is a muscle on your buttock that causes pinching of sciatic nerve that runs through from your sacrum and inserts in the lacer trochanter of your femur bone that helps external rotate your hip joint. So today, let's discuss a little bit anatomy about your hamstrings. So your hamstrings is actually 4 muscles, and they start on your sitting bone or the ischial tuberosity, and they go all the way down, one medially, one laterally, to insert of your medial aspect of your femur bone and one on the lateral aspect of your femur bone. And they flex your knee to flexion and also helps with hip extension when your knee is extended, not just your glutes, but also when you are on your prone position or you're kicking backward. The hamstrings is actually comprised of 3 muscles. So there's the biceps femoris, which is on the outside part of from your sitting bone all the way to the outside of your knee, and then the semitendinosus, semimembranosus that inserts on the middle aspect on the inner side of your knee or your thigh area. The biceps femoris, there's also the long head, which is part of the hamstrings, and the short head biceps femoris is not really part of the hamstrings because their function is different. So what's the function of the hamstrings? It helps flex your knee and hip extension when your leg is extended, and it helps decelerate the motion to keep when you're running and you have to stop real quick to prevent your knee from buckling, and also helps you control the slowing down process of running. And it's also a muscle that helps stabilize your hip joint, protects your hip and your knee joints. So with the hamstring, the proximal means the top part, the origin site, is where there's a tendon area there because there's 3 muscles starting from one origin all the way down to the side of your knees that creates this pulling sensation when you are weak on your hamstrings. And if you have an injury on your back, that supplies strength on your hamstrings. So if you have weakness on your hamstrings, then it creates this never-ending cycle of chronic inflammation. We call it tendinopathy or tendinosis. Tendinopathy and tendinosis means it's inflammation on your tendon. And usually when you look at the muscle belly, at the end part for inserting on the joint or inserting on the bone, it turns to a white color tendon tensile that keep it together. And that's why the inflammation there becomes chronic if you're sitting a lot. So sitting pressure on your sitting bone creates this inflammation further if you have an injury. And that's why you have to refrain yourself from doing high impact activities at this time and learn how to control the movement during the isometric exercise. So that's why in this video, I'll be demonstrating some lovely physical therapy together with Pilates to help lengthen and strengthen without straining the tendon. And as I said earlier, is it really the piriformis muscle also? So the piriformis muscle has a different origin and insertion. It's actually in your sacrum and in the lesser trochanter, as I said earlier. So it's not in your sitting bone, but sometimes it feels like pain on the butt as well because it pinches the sciatic nerve, the largest nerve of our body that goes behind the muscle, sometimes through the muscle. And that's why when you have tightness in your piriformis, how do you know if it's a piriformis or hamstring tendinopathy on the proximal side? So you'll know if it's a hamstrings inflammation on your proximal tendon when you can do a special test called the bent knee extension test. So when you're gonna lie down and try to extend and you feel a pulling sensation on the proximal part of your sitting bone. So you lie down, bend your knee, and gently extend, and you feel that not just tightness here, but a pulling sensation on the buttock, and sometimes it's sharp, sometimes it's dull. And the other test is if it's a piriformis muscle. So you figure out if it's your piriformis when you do a figure of 4, and it's a lot of pain on the butt as you place one foot over the other leg, press out, and you can't do it. Or when you're 90 degree and you try to internal and external rotate, especially the external, that's when you pull that piriformis muscle and you have pain down the leg that feels like a sciatica. So that's the difference between the piriformis muscle syndrome, and you can check out, I have a lot of piriformis syndrome videos you can check out if that's what you have. And in this video, we're going to do stage 1. You have to start gently strengthening your hamstrings so you're not pulling through the tendon. And that's why there's different stages of recovery. And I'll show you 3 simple exercises for absolute beginners so you're not straining your low back if you have back pain, arthritis, low back pain, stenosis, and sciatica. So you can slowly strengthen your hamstrings safely and effectively. And we might need some ankle weights. If you don't have ankle weights, you can still join me for absolute beginner, because the first test also to find out if you have proximal hamstring tendinopathy that feels like a pain in the butt is with another long arc bridge. So when you do a regular bridge, your knees more bent. With this one, your knees are slightly extended further to up to 30 degrees. And when you do that, you want to make sure you hold it up to 15 to 30 seconds or 45 seconds until you can feel the pain. But once you're done with that simple bridge, you're going to feel a lovely, sometimes relief, and you know you're healing. So this is another test to figure out if you are more proximal hamstring tendinopathy. So this is a regular bridge position with 45-degree angle. This is when you slightly further extend. So I'm further out. I have my ankle weights ready, prepared, so we can do some strengthening on your hamstring. So with your hips more in extension, because the more you in the flex position, there's gonna be more pulling sensation on your hamstring when we do some even isometric exercise. So from this position, you're gonna lift your hip up, and you're gonna feel your hamstrings really working hard, feel a sensation. And right now, we're gonna hold it for 5 seconds. You're gonna feel a burn on your hamstring, not your glutes. When you're long extended position, slightly bent, and you're gonna feel an ache, a deep ache on the butt. And it could be both sides or one side. Usually it's common on one side weakness. And hold this now. I'm holding this now for at least 15 seconds. I'm going to try to reach 30 seconds with your breathing. Inhale, exhale. So this is one of the best exercises as well. But if this is too challenging for your low back, then I'll show you some simple exercises you can start first. Inhale and exhale, and then slowly go down. And then when you let go, you might find a relief now, because isometric is when you're building strength without movement. It's an exercise program in a static position. So after doing that, at least 3 repetitions, 10 reps, until you can tolerate further to 45 seconds. And as I said, you can always start 5 seconds to 10, as much as you can tolerate. Everyone is different on their strength. So another way to do it is hamstring curls isometric by pressing your heels down to the mat in a little bit 45-degree angle and just pressing it down there. If your inflammation is really a lot, just press down as much as you can until you feel the shakiness on your hamstrings. And as I said, you can start 10 seconds. I'm pressing down now on the mat with my breath work until I could continue with my time on my watch, looking at it for 45 seconds. And do that as well. 3 repetitions, up to 8 to 10, as much as you can, and 3 sets. As you get stronger, you can do it in the morning or at the end of the day. So that's the second exercise that you can do for your proximal tendinopathy hamstring inflammation, which is pain on the sitting bone And then the next progression that you can do to strengthen your hamstring is on your stomach position, because as I said, hamstrings are the muscle that helps flex your knee. And in this position, you want to do an isometric hold. Just hold that position with the ankle weights as much as you can to contract and feel that sensation. And this is gentle. And then you're going to do a gentle eccentric control, slow control after maybe 5 seconds, hold and bend, lengthening. You're going to feel a pressure on the tendon. So this is not just an isometric, it's also a gentle isotonic, but slowly lengthening of the muscle. Again, inhale, hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then gently lengthen and extend, slow and steady. So if you notice, as I go down, it took me 5 to 10 seconds to go down. And my recommendation in this one is to do this 5 repetitions for absolute beginners without pain until you slowly feel the pain. You stop, because every week you can always add more reps and sets, and then slowly extend and do that up to 12 repetitions, and slowly increase the bending tolerance to 15 seconds, just holding it in the flex position before lengthening. So it's like a contract and then relax. I'm not plopping my foot. I'm slowly lowering it, slow controlled motion. So the last exercise I'm going to show you guys is with the ball. For absolute beginners, when your knees are bent and lift it up, your hips are more in 90-degree position, and that's going to be more strain on your hamstring. For absolute beginners, I want my glutes to help with your knees slightly bent, 45 degree. So it's less hip flexion. Place my hands on the floor and then lift off. So it's almost like an extended knee, but you're going to feel this on your hamstring, and hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly go down. And slowly progress from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. If you feel there's no pain, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And do that 8 to 10 reps. And no stretching of the hamstring. You don't want to pull it, because it also happens for those who do overstretching, like learning how to split, those who do yoga and they're overstretching the hamstrings, that pulls to the tendon. I'm hoping you learned a lot about how to treat your proximal tendinopathy of your hamstring. And if you have any questions, leave a comment down below. This is stage 1, and I only showed you 4 exercises. If you want me to do more exercises with stage 2 and stage 3 or a follow-along video, just let me know so I know which one will work best for you. And I still recommend you to see your primary care doctor or your local physical therapist to verify your diagnosis, to make sure you're doing the correct exercises for your back pain and the pain in your butt. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. And if you need my help and guidance, I'll be relaunching and revamping my back masterclass. It's going to be reopening today, my first discounted day, as I celebrated 5 years in YouTube and social media space. I've been a physical therapist for more than 20 years, but 5 years ago, I decided to open my YouTube channel to share my knowledge, skills, and wisdom to all of you who have chronic pain, back pain, pelvic floor weakness. Check out the link on the description below. Join my amazing new website. I'm so excited to host my course in that new platform so I could help as much patients, online students, to regain life without back pain, to have a stronger core and improve overall posture. Write your name and email address if you want to access my free 6-part video series as well, and use my discount code HELP15, limited time for the next 48 hours. So don't miss out on this 15% off, because I'm so excited to share my blessings to you guys. Get your 15% off right now. This is the first time I have my discount code for my online students. So I hope to see you inside the class. Thank you for joining me. And if you have more time today, watch the Piriformis syndrome so you learn more if you have Piriformis syndrome, and watch the episode 1 about my core back immersion, where I utilize Pilates, yoga, physical therapy to incorporate to heal my patients inside my back masterclass. See you inside my class. Always remember, be safe, be well, and healthy you. Bye!